In the second part of the state training program that Russ joined us on, question was brought up about how to build a team. And Russ did a very amazing job in showing how an agent can go from being a solo agent to running a team, what not to do, and a simple thing to do to get the ball rolling.
Hey, Russ, do you have any advice as far as team building? Is there any different approach to attracting like a buyer's agent or like an admin? Obviously, it's a little different if you're looking just to recruit a individual agent versus a team member, but didn't know if you had any experience or advice on that.
Yeah, sure. So Jim, why don't we let everybody else that wants to jump off, and I can do 3, 4, 5 minutes. If you guys want to hear how I talk about team, I'll keep it really short. But anybody wants to jump off, feel free to jump off. I won't be offended. But if you don't want to stick around for team stuff, that's fine. I get that. So it gives them a good opportunity to bail if they want. They're like, oh my God, I need to get out of here.
But it is good to have seen everyone that's on and anyone that's hopping off. Have a great day and go make it a great success. But Russ, back to you.
Awesome. And Emily, your face picture there, I could have swore I was looking at a lady named Natalie that worked for me who happened to have the exact same birth date as me. I was like, Natalie, is that you? He looked exactly like Natalie that worked for me years ago. So Patrick, great question. So here's a slight twist. Every time somebody hands this question to me, I twist it because I've seen this done 100 times and built dozens and dozens and dozens of teams, including like full brokerages and teams. So let me be really blunt with you. You should be getting to 25, 30 transactions before you even think about building a team. You should have systems in place where you'd be like, here's how you work with a buyer. Blow by blow, here's how I work with a buyer. Blow by blow, here's how we work with a listing. Blow by blow, how you do your business. And you can start doing that today. So on every transaction you do, start making a list. Okay, when I'm working with a buyer, first thing I do is buyer consult, boom, 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 boom. And you're gonna make out your way of doing it, right? Because you've got your own flavor. You gotta build your own recipe. If you're not super clear on your recipe, it's gonna be really hard for you to teach somebody else how to cook your stuff, okay? So it doesn't matter how good of a cook you are if the recipe sucks. Because a lot of people are like, well, these buyer's agents are falling apart. And I'm like, yeah, but your recipe sucks. They could be great, but your recipe sucks. You give an idiot a really great recipe and they'll do a pretty good job with it, right? So, so you got to think of it like just be realistic and really brutally honest with yourself and say, do I really have the ability to show them step by step and make sure it's written down, right? Make sure there's like, here's the recipe. Here's how you do it. Here's my way of doing it because I want you to do it my way because you're a reflection on me. Okay, so when you get to that around 30 or so transactions, the first person you hire is an administrative assistant, right?
Okay.
So are you there yet? Do you have an administrative assistant?
No, I mean, I'm depending on how the rest of the year fleshes out, I might be hitting those numbers you're talking about.
Okay, good.
Like I started off with a different brokerage on a team and I did like my first year, like about 30 deals because I was just being fed business and I was just basically a buyer's agent.
Good.
But now I'm to the point where I'm pushing that 25, 30, depending on how the second half of the year fleshes out, which is awesome. But I'm getting to the point where in the summer, like I know that I'm missing opportunities because I literally can't work anymore. Like it's impossible.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out the transition there to not miss any opportunities.
Okay. So let's be really clear on the math. Do you mind if I do a math problem for you real quick? Okay.
I like math. Yeah.
You're going to hand a buyer's agent a deal, right? So what is your average sales price in your market?
Around 6,000. I've been around 7,500. It's to 250. So I'd say 75.
7,500 your average commission?
It's changed in the last 6 months, but
good for you.
Yeah.
So the next is try to get it to 10, right? Okay. So let's say
right.
Set an agent up and you give the buyer's agent the handoff and you're splitting that 50-50. That's $3,750, right? For one human that buys or sells something, right? For $3,750, you can pay an assistant to handle all your paperwork, all your let's think about it, it's like anything that's a $20, $30, $40 an hour activity, you should be pushing off to an administrative assistant. And the reason being is there's a lot of stuff that happens between contract and close. It takes a ton of time, but doesn't make you any more money. And by the way, just let's be clear, right? If you get a good administrative assistant, they're way better at that crap than we are. And they'll make you look like a rock star. Let me give you an example. Her name is Darcy. I got Sean to hire Darcy before he even thought about adding anybody to his team. Sean hires Darcy. Everybody shows up at the closing table and brings Darcy a gift, right? The administrative assistant gets gifts from the buyers and sellers. They love her so much, right? Listen, Sean's a great guy. Darcy gets gifts at the closing table, right? So can they, number one, save you a ton of time, energy, and effort? Yes. If you have systems and can say, okay, this is your responsibility. It takes a little time to train them. Can you pay them $3,700? Yeah. Should you probably be paying them more like $4,000 a month plus $4,500 a month? Yes. I say start them out in the 35 to 37, $4,000 a month. And then if they're doing a good job, bump them up yesterday because somebody else is going to steal them. You'll get them trained and somebody will steal them. Okay. So pay them well. Good administrative assistants, my world, I think 55 to 60 grand is a good number. Here's the deal. If you get that one more sale per month, because now you have that extra 4, 5, 7, 10 hours, 20 hours a week, can you do one more sale? Chances are if you get an administrative person, you can open up what, 10 to 20 hours a week of paperwork, nonsense, follow-up, so forth and so on. If you can take that 10 to 20 hours a week doing what you're already doing and add 2 sales per month, you're adding 15,000, right? It's costing you 4, you're net 11 ahead, and you're working less hours doing things you like, doing things you're good at.
Yeah.
Do you see why having an administrative assistant first is the smartest move you can make? So what'll happen is you're doing right now, say 30, let's say 30 sales per year right now at $7,500 a pop. You get your administrative person, you should be able to add 1 to 2 more sales per month. You should be able to get into that 50 to 60 sales per month range and not be handing off all that money to a buyer's agent. God forbid you put 75, 25, that's 7,500. Now you're getting like 15, 17, 1,800 bucks out of that. And they're getting $6 grand, 5,500 to 6,000. So it's costing you even more money. So if you're smart and you put a buyer's agent a 50-50 split, which is not the most normal thing, then you're going to be costing even way more money. And that's way cheaper to have an administrative assistant first. Then when you get to 50 to 60, then you can say, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw a line in the sand. And anything that comes in under 250K, that's a buyer, that goes to the buyer's agent, right? When I get buyer's agents,
Right.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 3 people that want to be a buyer's agent, knowing full well 2 of them are going to fall flat on their face. 1 of them is going to be great. Okay, I'm going to get 3 of them. I'm going to put them all as a referral partner. I'm going to round robin all 3 of those people and say, hey, you're all going to get the same thing. You get 1, 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 you get 1. And at the end of the day, when you guys are working and playing, if you do a good job, I'll keep you. If you're not doing a good job in 6 months, I'm going to ask you to go somewhere else. So now you've set it up where you have a definitive deadline and you see who's working and actively moving forward. It doesn't have to be the most successful person. It has to be the best person for your team, the best fit for your tribe, and a person willing to work hard. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the person you're going to keep. The other 2 are going to fall flat on their face or fall off the wagon, right? So when you look at picking up buyer's agent, then you make a legit offer with them and say, we're going to actually put you on a team. You don't pull people on your team and get married to, let's put it this way. You don't get married before you date.
Yeah.
Right? Date first, then get married. Okay? Really easy to do. You get somebody that's active. Hey, I'm looking for somebody to take a couple leads, but you're going to have to follow this set of rules. If they show up, they follow that set of rules, they do what you need them to do, say, hey, you know what, you've done a good job. Let's formalize this. I want to pull you onto the team and really invest in you and set you up for success. And you're going to be part of my tribe permanently. Right? So you just don't know. It's like, I heard one of the wackiest people in the business I ever met. Her name was Lori something or other. She was bat's not crazy. And she said something brilliant one time. And I was like, wow, the only thing she did said that wasn't crazy. She's like, Russ, you don't know if they're a duck or an eagle. I'm like, well, yeah, you do. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, talks like a duck, poops like a duck, it's a duck. And he goes, but some of those ducks soar like eagles. Some of those eagles fall flat on their face and never jump out of the nest. And I'm like, what? Yeah. What did she just say to me? What? Because you get these people and you're like, man, that guy was awesome. God, it's awesome. They don't get out of their own way. And you get these people, you're like, the weirdest, I had this guy we hired, he was the weirdest dude, like really weird dude, right? Seemed like a nice guy, but really weird dude. And I will tell you, every time he had a closing, he had the weirdest clients. He had like a whole gaggle full of weird that followed him around. It's like Pigpen and his Pigpen pile of dusty weirdos. And that guy would show every closing. You were like, what the whole? The dude was weird as. He found his tribe. His tribe was Tribe Called Weird.
Yeah.
Man, he did a bang up business full of weird people that were weird just like him. So don't ever forget that weird people need houses too. And they love weird realtors.
Right.
So you got it again, just find your tribe. Find your tribe. Administrative person first. Then once you get that, you get to that 50-60, draw a line in the sand, say, any buyers come in under this, I'm going to refer them out, get a couple referral partners. The one that knocks it out of the park, you offer them a job to be part of the team. And then you pick up 3 more buyers. You feed the guy you got, do a great job. And when he's a little bit over full, then you pick up 3 more and do another test run, right? What you don't want to do is,
So are you saying like,
go
are you
ahead.
saying like refer to people outside of Fathom or wherever? Do the typical, 25% split until they're good enough, and then you got to kind of
Yeah,
ratchet
so,
that up to 50-50 at some point.
Yeah, so there's 2 lines of thinking on this, and I've been around brokerage enough and seen enough wars to know not to get poked in the eyeball by a spear. So with that said, you want to make sure you have permission from your boss, Jim, or whomever. Say, hey, by the way, here's what deal. I'm going to build my team. Do you have anybody in the team that could use a little bit of help that would be better off on a team? Sometimes by asking that question,
Yeah.
Jim will say, hey, man, this guy, Tim, he's a great guy, but man, he can't get out of his own way. If he had a team and he had a boss and he had somebody to feed him, he'd be fine. Dude could eat like a pig. He just doesn't know how to feed himself. He doesn't know how to get the food in the first place, right?
Mhm.
So there are certain people out there that are great on teams. They're not great on their own, and it's okay, right? It's okay. You got to know what you are and just work within that boundary. Like me, I don't play well. I like fly by the seat of my pants, do my own thing. If you try to micromanage me, I run or I hide. Like don't like that. Don't try to be my boss. Tell me where you want me to be and get out of my way, right? That's just the way I'm wired, right? So you're going to find those people. So ask around and make sure you're clear with, Jim, hey, Jim, do you have anybody that could use a boost? We have some people coming in, they're new, nice, likable, motivated, driven, no experience, that could use somebody to help guide them, teach them, train them, grow them, right? And could be a great asset to your team and be a good function for your team. You don't want to just look for somebody that needs sales, because what will happen is if they get sales and then they get successful, get a couple of dollars in their pocket and be like, oh, I can do this. I don't need Patrick anymore. Oh, wait a minute, Patrick, that's what you did. Oops.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
You don't
right.
want to hire yourself, right? Because what's going to happen is you're going to get a little money in your pocket and you're like, I don't need Patrick anymore. I can do this. I'm doing the hard part anyway, right? But they don't realize the hard part is getting the business. Any idiot can stuff
Yeah.
food.
No kidding. I've learned that.
Any
I've learned
idiot
that.
can stuff food in their face, but getting the food is the hard part, right? So you're going to find those people that are not good on their own, that need a little bit of guidance, need somebody to check in on them, need somebody to work with them, and you become their leader. So, but you got to think, as a team person, you got to think, am I willing to be a leader? And am I
Right. My first instinct is just selfishly, how do I get more of my time back? Or how do I push off some of the undesirable things on other people? But yeah.
That's what admin people are for.
And Patrick,
Right.
I have an assistant that works for me 3 days a week. She's consistent for me on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I pay her $13 an hour. She's a retired bank manager. And she just does all my paperwork. She gets in my calendar and she looks at, Malia's going on a listing appointment at 123 Main Street. She makes my listing packet. I pull comps and throw my comps in there and walk out the door.
Yep.
She just gets in there and just does it. And then if she only has stuff to work till noon, she leaves. So I only pay her. And I have a checklist. I've started to say, I have a checklist of what she does for me. And I'm happy to share that with you so that as you start navigating the waters to find somebody, I just wanted somebody. And then she loves it because if she wants to go on a vacation, she can go on a vacation whenever she wants, and I just know I have to work a little bit harder that week. And if I have everything in my calendar, but that before she goes away, she's got it all done and prepared for me.
Yeah.
So, and then when I go on vacation, she checks my email a lot for me on vacation so that I don't have to constantly be in it. And then she just lets me know what she does for me. She does all my paperwork for my title companies, my realtor sheets for them. Because I was so bad at that. Oh my goodness. That was like the last thing that I ever wanted to do. And I have title companies blowing up my phone about all that kind of stuff. But and so I think I figured out at part-time, I pay her $20,000 a year. Oh my goodness, for me, that's 2 transactions. And it just is a godsend.
The cherry on the
Yeah.
Sunday for this, Russ, and supporting what you just said about the administrator being the first one. Malia, tell Russ how many transactions you had last year.
136.
And that your husband just got his license, if I remember correctly, but otherwise you've been doing this on your own with the help of a part-time assistant, admin.
Correct. My husband actually was licensed before me. He just quit his job 2 years ago. But he's focusing more on rentals, and he'll go do signs for me, or open a door or something, but pretty much, I do the rest of it. And then my assistant is just utterly amazing. I mean,
Patrick, super important part of this conversation that you need to understand too, and this is something you got to stick in your head. 2 things. Number one, it's very possible, right? Can you make $400,000, $500,000 a year and work less than 40 hours a week? I will tell you not only yes, but hell yes. Getting below 20, I will tell you, is a bit of a dogfight, but it is doable, right? And if you get in your head going, I know it's doable. Other people have done it. Now that I know other people have done it, it's doable. So Malia, that is 2016, 136.
okay.
2015, 143. And then we kind of petered off because I was going different directions and so forth. So, you know, Patrick, what I want you to hear is that you're talking to 2 people that have played in the 130, 140 closings per year. I had 1 full-time person, 1 part-time person. And I did not work 40 hours a week. Okay. So it's very, very possible. Well, I guess my guidance to you is listen to people like her, listen to people like me. When ask them, have you ever sold over 100 homes a year? You don't want to listen to the people that haven't sold 100 homes a year if you're trying to sell 150, right?
Right.
Don't ask a slow guy how to run a fast mile. You don't ask me how to run a fast mile. Okay.
Patrick, I don't work weekends in the summer. I'm with
Bam.
my family pretty much the entire
See,
weekend.
136. Did you
Yeah,
catch
that's
that?
kind of what I'm
100?
getting at is
No weekends.
I'm going through some growing pains, and it's good. I mean,
Yeah.
last year all I thought I wanted was many closings as possible, which is starting to gain that momentum. But going to the trouble of trying to have a life and be a good husband and a good father and spend some time with my family, in the summer. That's becoming more of a challenge. So
I'm going to give you a horrible visual, right? That's going to stick in your head for a while. This is one of those mental scarring moments that you will remember forever, right? How do you make a middle-aged man taller? By the way, this happens in Japan. How do you make a middle-aged man taller? Because height in Japan is a really big deal. They break their legs, put on braces, stretch the skin out, and let the bone grow back together. Re-break the leg, stretch the skin out, let the bone grow back together. Break the leg, right? So you want to be taller? That's a commitment. That is a commitment with a plan, right? I'm not saying you got to break your leg, but what I'm saying is if you say, hey, I want to be at 100 and work less than 40 hours a week, you got to say, I'm going to make that kind of commitment. If it's that important for me to be taller, dude, that's a real commitment, right? I want you to think of your business like that, because what we do a lot of times is we kind of half-ass stuff. You're like, oh, I'm kind of going this direction. I don't kind of go any direction. If you see me walking through a room, you better know where I'm going, because I will walk into you, through you, and around you as fast as I can. I just move, like that's just, it's a just drive way of doing things. You make the commitment, and then you don't accept anything other than success. And that's how you end up not working weekends and doing 136 sales.
Right.
So congratulations to you, by the way. I very seldom meet people that rock like that.
Thank you. And Patrick, the other thing, I know you hear this over and over again about the sphere, but my sphere is 100% my referral base. And I always am asking for business. Not that I need it, right? But I always am asking. So I send out mailers 3 times a year to everyone that I've touched or sold a house to. And at the end, I ask for business. I tell them that I am so grateful and I treasure their referrals. And people remember that.
Yep.
And they like the gratefulness and the gratitude. And then at every closing in my thank you card, I end it by, please remember me if you have a friend or family member that would, value my services. So that's just another tidbit, my information.
Patrick, you got this, brother. Just got to draw the line in the sand and say, I'm not stopping until I have this. You can engineer your life any way you want.
Yeah. And yeah, this business is crazy. I'm not saying that I don't take phone calls and things on the weekends. But I had to put my foot down as a mom and a wife and say, I'm not taking calls after 7:30, 8 o'clock. I mean, at 7, if I can help it, there's going to be times where you're negotiating and things like that. But I had to just put my foot down on, some showings and just say, and on the weekends, Patrick, this is what I say. I say, I am fully booked with work and family commitments. Can we meet on Monday? And they're like, yeah, sure. If the way the market is, if let's say that they're not gonna, they're gonna look at offers on Saturday and it's the only chance, well, then I find somebody to help me out. Hey, can somebody else help me out? Or do I have to run and do one quick showing? Yeah, that happens sometimes, but most generally, I don't work weekends.
Patrick, what's the most important thing in your life? Most important thing in your life?
It's not a trick question, Patrick.
Faith. No, faith and family in that order.
So
Not that I always prioritize it that way, but that's the whole point. Yeah.
I noticed you didn't say money. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. You get really, really clear on what's the most important thing to you, and then act like it. Right? Working every evening and working every weekend just because of the money, not acting like it, right? So whatever you do not sacrifice.
Right.
And you have to go, you know what? I sacrificed my business and my money for my family. No. You sacrifice your clients if you have to. You sacrifice anything. Everybody first before your family, right? Your family comes first. Everybody else is second. You got something booked with family, you respect that every single time. You build your business around that. There's ways to do that. I know people that are severely handicapped that work this business. Trust me, it's really hard for them. But they've got their priorities, their stuff, they got their stuff in line, they figure it out. I've had 3 different women that had 4 girls. I don't know what it is about girls that have 4 girls. Well, I can tell you why a husband would not want to stick around with 4 girls going, wah! And they go in the house like, what the? It's like a zoo. It's like being in a blender. My neighbor over here, 4 girls. I was like, holy crap, how do you survive this, right? But 4 single women, 4 girls, all of them making over $100,000 a year and still raising 4 girls, right? 4 boys, the same thing. No different, really. So the deal is like, it's doable. There are plenty of examples of you can be successful. Family first. I mean, some of them are working 5 hours. Like they had 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. That was their only window for a year or 2 to be able to do their business. And then they would have to hire a babysitter to do anything outside of hours. So if it was outside of their normal work hours, it had to be really freaking important because they're going to be paying dollars per hour to have them covered while they're gone. So if that's doable for them, listen, dude, I know your world's going to be way easier than that. Right?
Yeah.
So it's doable. All right.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Do you guys have any success or failures with showing agent type models as opposed to buyer agent type models? I know there's pros and cons to it, but that's one thing that comes to mind that is, and with the market being as fast paced as it is, I can tell people like Malia said, like, hey, I don't work, I'm booked, but sometimes you do have to go out and do a showing because you want to do right by the client and it is going to sell before Monday. So it's a matter of trying to get some control over my schedule by having some additional capacity for showings without giving up half of the commission. So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of maybe a long conversation or whatever, but I didn't know if you had any resources or
Super
Ideas
simple,
on
super simple conversation. I had 2 or 3 people that I could pay $50 any time to show a house. And like for me,
Sorry, Dan.
$50 out, $50 a hit for me. If like I can't show how, like they got 2 houses they're gonna look at, market's flying. I'm gonna set you up with Bill. Bill's gonna take you and he's gonna show you the house, walk through it. You guys are gonna shoot me a call while you're at it, or right when you're done with it. He's gonna write down a list of the things that you love about the house, and then there's a checkbox at the bottom. If you had to buy a house today, would you buy this house? Could you make this house work? Which, by the way, shifts the way they see everything and think about the house. Could you make this work? Yes or no? Checkbox. Yes? Good. You want to write an offer on it? Let's go. And then it turns them back over to me. So I had 2 or 3 of those people. Bill Lewis became his own successful real estate agent, but he didn't have as much business. So he was a great real estate agent, but he's like, hell yeah, I'll do $50 on a Saturday. Gets me out of the house. Take my dog for a drive. That was his thing, right?
Mhm.
I have 2 or 3 of those people I can jump at the call of notice. And then what you'll find is that one of those people you might want to add to your team. Again, you're dating. How they do that
Right.
is how they do everything. They can't even do a good job of that. They make that a pain in your ass. Guess what? You can't imagine what they're going to do with everything else.
Yeah.
So great way to test some people out for potential
Yeah.
teammates.
Cool.
Good stuff, Russ.
Yeah, I appreciate you and Jim and Malia, your advice. I mean, it's kind of and you guys have been through a lot of this stuff, so probably get the questions all the time, but it's nice to get some live feedback on it. I know a lot of that stuff Josh has written about as well.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, the admin comes first and all that, so you don't chop off half your mission.
Malia will
Buyer's
agree with this. The best part about banging your head against the wall is stopping.
Yeah, it feels good when it stops.
It feels good when you stop, right? So like nothing should stop you from stopping that. Find a way to stop it. You know it's possible, right? And you got plenty of people around you to support you. Reach out to them. Malia just offered to give you her checklist. What? It's like,
Yeah,
And Patrick,
yeah, I
if you
like that.
really
That'd be awesome.
oh, yeah.
just take 1 week and add up all the time you spend uploading documents to IntelliAgent.
Oh, you
Yeah.
got
Oh, it's
And
going to be
see
so
how
nice.
much, I mean, just even for me, like just sitting down and preparing my closing package to give to my, my buyer, my seller. Oh, there's just nothing in me that can handle it. I just have somebody that just takes and it's so, and it the peace that it puts in my life. So
Yeah.
you can do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Find
I was
something
just
like
my
that,
wife
start there.
last week. Oh, I had a great day. I let my wife know the other day, like, oh, I had a great day. I got all this stuff done. And I was like excited that I got all this stuff done because I had like 3 or 4 things going on at the same time. I was onboarding all these new transactions. And I thought to myself, after I said how great that was, like I just spent an entire day like digitally moving paperwork around. That's all I did. Like, wow.
Fathom
wasn't
working
really a
on
great day.
resolving that.
It's a
Um,
good problem.
It's not really their fault. It's just, somebody else could do it. I mean, I could be out doing something else or, yeah.
I like it when we're like, I had a good day. I snuck in a nap.
What can you say?
49-year-old goals.
All right. Well, I think I better stop the recording or else my computer hard drive is going to be
Oh, geez, I
full.
thought you cut it off a while ago.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to keep this running. It is the cherry on the sundae, the extra bonus that is there that is going to be worth for our agents that are expanding their business to go back and hear. So
Yes.
Yeah, it's a weird conversation, and I've seen it done wrong so many times. It's just great to have a tour guide. Like, don't do it again. Banging your head on. Don't bang your head on that wall. It's already been done. Like, don't do it the way I did it wrong,
Mhm.
or Malia did it wrong. Jim did it wrong. Do it right.
well, I do it wrong all the time. It's my forte. Someone's got to have that claim to
I
fame.
do new stuff wrong all the time.